this area is the Pablo Historical Park.
Okay.
So Beach Boulevard used to be the train track. So this was where the train ran into town. So when you look at it from above, it is straight as an arrow. So when the Historical Society was formed in 1978, one of the first things that happened was somebody said, we have a building for you. It was the section foreman's house that he was assigned to this portion of the track. So the Historical Society didn't have land. They were just a group of people, concerned citizens. But they went to the city and said, how about we use that old railroad land? And so we've been operating the Pablo Historical Park ever since. So we are responsible for the maintenance and care of the park, as well as the buildings that are on the property. So we started this, there were no buildings here when we started, so they're all new to this space. But we've been adding, most recent one was the cabin that came just a few years ago. Gosh, I say just a few years ago, 10 years ago.
What is the significance of the Pablo name? Because I hear Pablo everywhere.
So Pablo was the name of the river. So the Pablo River is what you drive over. When you drive over, it's now the Intercoastal because they connected the Pablo River with the Talamado River. That's why if you drive over the Palm Valley Bridge, it's very straight and narrow there. That is artificially made to connect the Intercoastal Waterway. So this was the Pablo River. We had Spanish land grants here. An early Spanish settlement, so that's where Pablo came from, and that's why they called it Pablo Beach.
Wonderful.
It was known as Ruby Beach before that, so I can tell you that.
So that's the brewery is named after
Yep,
that. See, I didn't know that.
Absolutely, yeah. So Ruby was the daughter of William and Eleanor Skull, and they were early settlers here. We give them credit kind of for being the first settlers in the late 1800s. They set up a general store and a post office. Well, you have to have a name for where people are sending the mail, and they had two daughters, Ruby and Bessie, and they named Ruby Beach after Ruby. It was just called Ruby, in fact. We call it Ruby Beach now, but Bessie Beach would have been nice. I like a little alliteration, but Ruby Beach has been, I like to see it carried on in the name of the brewery and to see that history. And people are curious and they ask, and it's an opportunity for them to learn a little bit more.
I mean, that's fascinating for me because it took me a while to understand that the Calford Chop House was named after Calford, which was the original city name of Jacksonville. So to know that Ruby Beach Brewery is a way to pay homage to the original name of the beach is incredible. So it went from Ruby Beach to Pablo Beach, and then when did it become Jacksonville Beach?
It became Jacksonville Beach in 1925. So we were incorporated as a city in 1907, but in 1925, the city leaders out here wanted people to know where we were, so they named us after the bigger city to our west.
So this last year was 100 years. 2025.
Since it was named, But we were incorporated in 1907, so that's technically our centennial.
Wonderful.
And it was 100 years, incidentally, of the Casa Marina. So the Casa Marina opened, and we changed our name the same day.
The same day? Oh my goodness.
So 100 years ago.
Yeah, learning something new every day. You want to show us it?
That's what we do here. Let's see. Yep, absolutely. So the Cummer and Son Cypress Company was obviously when there was a lot of logging going on in Florida. This locomotive never actually ran in our area, so it ran across Central Florida, bringing lumber across to St. Augustine. So they gave the locomotive to the St. Augustine Historical Society, and they kept it for 20 years. And then when they didn't have to keep it anymore, they gave it to us, and we brought it up here. When I was growing up, it was open air. So like I remember coming here as a kid and climbing on it and things like that. Obviously the salt air, not great with the metal, so we took it out, rehabbed it, and then we built this building around it to protect it from the elements. So it's a huge part of our tour. It's demonstrative of, the train system that really led to the development of our area, but we also have a wonderful event called Pablo Beach Train Day. We have Beach's North Pole Express. So we really utilize the train as the centerpiece for some of our community events.
I like the artifacts that you kept with it.
Yeah, and some of the railroad ties we actually found on our property. So like I mentioned, the train track was Beach Boulevard, so there's obviously going to be kind of trash and remnants from that time.
Well, very cool.
Yeah. So these are all student sculptures, and I think there's 5 of them. There's 6 of them in the park right now, and they're definitely attention getting. So they're a lot of fun.
There's no doubt about that. Very cool. So on the signage, it's just, are they landmarkers? Do they kind of give you a little bit of input on what's
so
around?
In the 80s, there was a really big push in Florida to do these historic markers. And so some of them are not site specific, so we put them here on the park. Our organization helped get them established. But the furthest one is about the Skull family. So it's about the original settlers to our area. This is the Blue Star Memorial Highway. And then we have another one that is about Jimmy Doolittle, who you might recognize from World War II, but he flew from coast to coast. So he flew from Jacksonville Beach to San Diego in a transcontinental flight. So that's a marker denoting that.
Oh my goodness, no,
Yeah.
Did not know that. Awesome.
So the depot used to be up in Mayport. And so this is actually a really early photo. I think this is the oldest photo that we have. So if you came in by boat to Mayport, this is about where the Coast Guard base is now, if you're driving up to Mayport Village. And then you could hop on a train, and I'll show you the route that it would take down the beaches. But once they closed down the railroad, this was moved and it became a restaurant. And then in the early 80s, it was moved here to the park. And so let me turn it on for you because...
Oh, it works.
Yeah, of course.
Stop it.
I know. And you can...
Oh my God.
So at Christmas time, our volunteers who take care of this come in and put Christmas trees up, and we put the Polar Express train on the track. It's really cute.
Dude, come on. Chris, this is incredible.
And then like you can, this is designed for the little kids to be able to kind of come in and they can make it stop, and then. So we just did a rehab project on this building that through the state of Florida.
Oh, and the state of Florida funded it?
They did a match, so it was half and half, but it was, so this is, we can pop in here, this is the lower depot, so this would have been the ticket, so that would have been where the luggage and everything was, and then this would have been the ticket and waiting area. So one of the things we did was just make things a little more period appropriate with the lighting. We had been a restaurant, so there was track lighting and things like that up there.
How do people preserve this stuff?
I know. This is all part of all from our collection. So the Foreman's house was the first building that we got and brought to this campus. And then the gardens all around it are attended to by our master gardeners, which is part of the Duval County Extension. So you see how the families would have lived in the early 1900s.
Is this one of those things that people would put under the blankets to get them warm? Yeah, that's unbelievable.
I think.
Is that a sewing machine?
Sewing machine.
This has to be a juicer, right?
That would have been the water pump from the well. Coffee grinder.
I just can't get over that all of this is the museum.
I know. It's funny, well, I'll be down here setting up for an event or something, and people will walk up, just curious, just go to the museum. They're like, oh, is that this? And so one thing that really helped make it contiguous was this road used to go to Beach Boulevard. So this went through. So even when they moved the chapel over, there was still a road right here. So I was on council, it was before I had joined the board, and they came in and asked if we could close this road. So I got to vote on that, which of course, as you can see, we voted yes. And then the organization, this building wasn't here, of course, when the road went through, but we had a great place to put the cabin, and then had a contiguous space to bring kind of the chapel into the fold. So that was a really great move. So this is our oldest building. So this was built in 1873, and it was the O. Stryker and McCormick families' building that they donated to us. And McCormick's were the founders of the Historical Society. But again, as Nocatee is changing so quickly, we wanted to be able to show that pioneer Florida. Thomas O. Stryker built the cabin by hand with a friend of his, and then this is his family. So this was the original cabin. And you can tell on the outside by the wood, because this was hand hewn. We put it on the back of a semi-truck and drove it up here. Did all the restoration and opened it in 2016.
Old telephone. I love that
Can we use the telephone?
Sure.
you know, when Alexander Graham Bell invented it, he said that people should answer it ahoy.
Yep.
Oh.
Talking to this and listening to this,
Uh-huh.
you know how it goes. Excuse me, trying to find PB and Jacks. PB and Jacks, please. Hello, hello. Pioneers and builders.
No ahoy.
Ahoy. Ring, ring. Ahoy.
If I answered my phone, I would do that. So we use this a lot for not just part of our history tour, but it's also bathrooms for the chapel. And then we have events and stuff. The brides will get ready here. Just great special events.
This is their
space.
oldest building. It's the original cabin.
And then this is Hughie Stryker, and this was his table. And the kind of fun feature of that is that he had a drawer
Oh,
here
man.
where he put his own silverware.
How neat. The older generations were so much better than us.
This is Ella Stryker and B.B. McCormick. And B.B. McCormick he became a builder. And so he's kind of known as the builder of the beaches. And they look thrilled, don't they?
They look over the moon.
Happy wedding day, guys.
Yeah.
So when we were pulling off the drywall, we found this above the fireplace. And we were like, what on earth alien inscription is this? And then I realized every other letter is O. So it's Thomas O. Stryker, Ella O. Stryker, Dorothea O. Stryker. I don't remember all the rest of their names. So it's all the kids. And so the last one is an M. I think it's an M. So that would be Maud O. Stryker. So there was one more after that. So we could figure out the year that this was carved. These are two more of those UNF sculptures.
Oh, right here?
Yep,
That's definitely a flamingo.
yep. Little alien UFO thing.
Does anybody use this for anything? This feels just like a good space to have people.
Yeah, we use it for, so tomorrow it'll be the Florida Chamber Music Project. They have their concerts here. Then we have a congregation that uses it on Sundays, so that's it. They rent it from us. We have weddings, we have concerts, lectures. We use it all the time.
Okay.
It's been a really, really great addition. You know, in addition to being from 1887 and part of our community's history, we really do use it a lot.
That's so great.
And it was in constant use, so it was never dilapidated or a point where we had to really rehab it so much. When we moved it here, we did add the original, it was close to the original bell tower back as we could, because that had been lost over the years. But you can see in the floor the length of the original chapel. And so they actually extended that in the 50s
I see it, yep.
when it was at St. Paul's by the Sea. Do you want to ring the bell?
I would love to ring the bell. I would love to ring the bell.
For me, this is so nice. It's still part of our community's history because we have weddings here, we have the congregation that meets here. So it's still actively creating its own stories, which I really love.